Android 17 needs to take a course in respecting women because there was absolutely no respect involved in anything that he did this week. He didn't let these three bitches transform fair and square. You know, in the Dragon Ball universe, you could murder somebody, you could rape somebody, but you let them transform first. Then he takes one of them out, kicking this bitch straight to her own team. Yes, like literally, you saw her like making contact with the wall, and she's like, you know, making so much friction with it that she ends up spinning over and she's pretty much out of bounds and she loses, right? But then Android 17, man, using lighting, yes, using lighting, whatever, as footing and basically blasting this bitch into oblivion. I mean, I didn't think Android 17 possessed that kind of power because those are the kinds of attacks that if he used against Goku in that fight, maybe it would have lasted a lot longer than it did. Oh, and I need to make a PC statement, but I am not sexist and I really respect women. Like, women are great. They are the reason why we are here. They are the reason why the world is not as violent as it used to be. Like, men are destructive, bro. Men cause destruction. Like, you could open up a history book or you could just watch this episode of Dragon Ball Super because, damn, Android 17, bro, like, he freaking ripped that pussy in half. I mean, I don't know what kind of women Android 17 likes because we've actually never seen his wife, even though we know he has children and all that good stuff, right? But he clearly ain't into them Sailor Moon bitches, alright? He ain't into all the, like, you know, all the fashion stuff and the hearts and all that. Like, he's not into none of that. So maybe Android 17's into, like, some really, like, muscular, like, hardcore, like, butch women. Like, imagine if Android 16 were a girl. Like, that's the kind of women I personally think Android 17 is into, like, after watching this week's episode, because there was no respect or boundaries shown at all for these three, all right? And I'm not saying that all of them are down, like there's only one that's down so far out of the, you know, kamikaze fireballs, but these next two are gonna go. And even though I feel like Android 17 was a savage, I also feel like he was trying to show some respect to Kakunza before she got taken out, because he did tell her, like, your fighting style is actually worth studying. And hell yeah, Goku, Android 17 was definitely hiding some of that power, especially after witnessing that last attack. Like, if he did that shit on you, you might just have to pull out some of your best. I'm talking Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, right? Now, I'm not going to sit here and act as if Android 17, with every single, you know, inch of my body, like, you know, really honestly act as if, you know, he could take out Goku. But who knows? They've been really nerfing Super Saiyan Blue recently, so maybe he could. Alright, I don't want anybody to flame me in the comment section for that statement, so I'm going to retract it. Though who knows? Maybe that Android 17 is going to be studying Kakunza's moves. You know, maybe one day he will be able to surpass Goku, even though Goku will get a new transformation really soon, and that'll completely go out the window. Though despite all the jokes I made about her fighting style and her character, I've got to say I do like that one move that she did with Vikal as Android 17 caught her with the barrier and flung her out. You had Vikal from Universe 2 basically flying and picking her up, and those two both tag team crashed into Android 17. Now, it didn't do all types of crazy damage, but I thought it was a really cool move, right? Especially because she was technically supposed to go down right there, and yet she came back and really got Android 17. Now, while I do feel like the comedy and most of the fighting was executed very well, especially Android 17 at the end was so freaking savage, it's just so phenomenal, right? Like, all that stuff, I love it. But they did spend a lot of time on things I didn't care about. Like, so Hellas's dialogues about her fighters, like, oh my god, these amazing fighters, like, look at what she can do, look at what she can do. And the thing is, you know, we got this once from the clown god of destruction, I forgot his name. But this bitch was every scene hyping up her team, and it's like, let us see what your team can actually do. Because from my understanding, they're getting knocked out. So stop hyping them up. It's like pointless dialogue. And then on top of that, you have, like, you know, the awkward scenes of Topo just running to the defense of those three to rib Rianne and basically telling Android 17 off, like, you gotta let him transform because that's true justice. Like, absolutely hilarious. But then they proceed to, like, basically explode the arena, sending these, like, heart bombs, right? Or these love bombs. And it's like, they spent like 3 or 4 minutes just doing that, and it's you know, it really didn't go anywhere, like, at all. A lot of this was for show and there wasn't any substance behind it. And it doesn't have to be, right, because it was entertaining. Like, Master Roshi, out of all the people, was one of the least affected by the love bombs. Like, get out of here, I don't believe it for a minute. But I'm pretty sure I am not the only individual who feels like they could have made all of this like half of the episode, right? And the other half was more action, was the serious stuff. Because, again, like, even the instances that they tried to make serious, freaking Ribrianne, the star of Universe 2 that everybody's hyping up, is rolling around, right? She's contesting Vegeta Super Saiyan, right? Well, Vegeta doesn't dodge her because he's scared, like, yo, this bitch is rolling around and she could, like, cause me extensive damage. He dodges her because he looks at her face and he finds it disgusting. Now, he lets her, like, leave and roll around elsewhere. That is hilarious, like, don't get me wrong. But can you honestly tell me that there's any fear factor involved, that you're really out there worried for Vegeta, Gohan, and all of them as they're fighting these girls? Because the way I saw it was like, yo, this shit is just funny, right? But there's nothing really serious about it. So they did spend a lot of time, I guess, undermining a lot of the serious nature of these characters with jokes. And I'm cool with it because I don't expect Universe 2 to be relevant by the end of the Tournament of Power, but I also felt like they could have saved a bit more time for Android 17 to go in. Like, I'm cool with Vegeta, you know, dodging this crazy fat bitch, but I would rather see Android 17 go in. Or maybe he'd work together with 18, blasting bitches to hell together seriously, like those two fighting together seriously. Not how, you know, those two worked together against some of the Pride Troopers, because I don't really think they were being serious at that point in time. When it comes to the Kamikaze Fireballs, they don't really scare me at all, guys. In fact, when Jiren was aiming for one of those hearts, Ribrianne knew immediately to get out the way, right? This ain't Master Roshi firing off a shot. This is Jiren, right? He'd take you out in one shot. He'd do a Natsu to you. Now, surprisingly, we didn't see too much of Goku in this episode, and I'm guessing that's because they're saving him for some of the stuff that's upcoming, and it's a lot crazier, so we need Goku for that, right? But we did see him fight Su Rosie, or whatever her name is, Rosie. I did like her ability of turning punches into ki blasts, and then, you know, manipulating those ki blasts to where she actually landed a hit on Goku. But I am scared that that is her potential. And even though they were hyping her up like, yo, her power keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger, I mean, Goku wasn't even fully transformed when he took that hit. So I'm really wondering what is like the full potential of these Kamikaze Fireballs. I don't really see them making it out of like 2 more episodes, honestly. I think Universe 2 is probably going to be the next Universe Extinct. That's about all I have to say for this week's episode. It felt like a giant laugh, honestly, until Android 17. He's the one who really made it serious and savage for me. Like, Android 17 saved this episode, in my opinion, because if you took him out, I feel like I would have still enjoyed it, but for the wrong reasons. Just because I'm laughing at these dumb girls as they're about to be wiped out. Oh, can someone get Universe 10 the heck up out of here? Like, I was so tired of the cuts to Rumshi and his trunk basically, like, you know, wiggling around and trying to snap all of his, you know, characters out of affection. Like, these are, you know, it's not surprising because there's no love in Universe 10. Like, ain't no affection to go around, so this is new feelings to them, right? Unlike Frieza, who